Namaste everyone, my name is Moumita and I hope you all are keeping well physically as well as mentally. I'm back again on another session on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and it is a trending topic these days that about the RTI file for the electropherogram report of Gumnami Baba, who is most often associated to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and we have amongst us today a senior activist at the Declassification of Netaji Files movement, an author of Netaji Act Nishiddho Shotto, and the team member of Mission Netaji, who is none other than Sayak Sen sir, whom I fondly call Shayogda. So let's welcome him on board and start the session for today. I've been looking forward to this session from a long time since
Yeah,
2020. So
yeah,
finally, this is
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you.
So Dada, I have heard and read a lot about you. So I would like to first start with how did you get associated yourself with Mission Netaji?
Okay, so actually, I did not plan anything as such that I will, go and join Mission Netaji or something like that would happen to me. But it all started when I came across a post, I think from Anuj Thar. So it was a Facebook post. So I kind of started liking that issue because I always thought that okay, so the people who actually fought for the country, who laid down their everything, so now these people, I cannot do anything for them because majority of them are dead by that time. So now, since majority of them were dead, and I did not know what to do, now this looked like an opportunity to me that yes, there is perhaps a room to serve one of the greatest freedom fighters, or I would say the greatest freedom fighter India has ever seen. And there are like complicated issues. But till then, to be very honest, I was not a Subhash Bose fan, to be very honest. I was, I was not really aware of what all he did, but I knew that there is a mystery surrounding his death. So that's all I knew about him. And then I started reading about him, his own autobiography, and the movies that were made out of his life. So these kind of things. And gradually, I became very much interested. I got in touch. Though in those days, the Mission Netaji and the Bose family members were together, fighting the declassification of Netaji files. So I got in touch with Bose family as well. I got in touch with, and after that, I got in touch with Anuj Dhar actually. I was in touch with him in Facebook, but my face-to-face interaction happened with him probably somewhere around 2013, mid of 2013 or late 2013. So that's when I started getting involved in Mission Netaji. Initially, we had a group called the Open Platform for Netaji, which for some reason has been hijacked now. But yes, I used to be an active member of that, and in fact, for one of the founder members of that. So now it's more like a Congress mouthpiece, to be very honest, because the majority of Bose family members, they have turned towards Congress right now. So but those days we were actually fighting for declassification, and I kind of organized. I was in my college days in those days, so it was in Durgapur. So I kind of organized a huge seminar on Subhash Bose, and people like Chandra Bose and everyone was there for the presentation. So that was the starting point of it, I would say. Then it was followed up by multiple rallies, meeting the prime minister at his residence, meeting the chief minister when she declassified the 64 Bengal CID files. So through this process, I got in touch with and involved with Mission Netaji.
So how was the interaction with Modi ji and Srimati Mamata Banerjee, and how was their reaction when you met them, and what all questions did you ask them?
So it was very pointed. It was a very straightforward discussion, and because when I met Narendra Modi ji for the first time, it was not only I was meeting Narendra Modi ji. Rajnath Singh was the then defense minister; he was also present, and Sushma Swaraj was the then foreign affairs minister, so she was also present. So before we could say anything, the prime minister said that we are going to declassify the files. So that was a big moment for us. But again, somehow I was apprehensive of the fact that okay, will the intelligence files be coming out? So that was the big concern, and it still remains a big concern for me. And when it comes to Mamata Banerjee, Mamata Banerjee clearly told us that he did not die in 1945. It was as simple as that, because I remember, I think Surojit Kaur Purokayastha was the Kolkata police commissioner back then, And when he was going through the files that actually the Bengal government had declassified on that day, 64 files. So he clearly said that as per these records, he was alive, because there were clear indications, there were clear crystal evidences that snooping was going on the Bose family members for up to 1964, 68, I would say. So why would they snoop on Subhash Bose's family? Because Sarat Bose was dead by that time. So, I don't think there were many people left of that importance for whom you would have actually have placed 8 agents, 12 agents, or chasing one person down. So I don't think they were that big of a stature. But yes, they were looking for the main man because they knew he was alive.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what was that moment which inspired you to start researching about Netaji? Like, as you said, you were on college days, those
Mhm.
days when you started,
Mhm.
you were not a big fan of Netaji because you never knew. For example, I also, my story is also similar to that only. In fact, I was a fan of Netaji, but I never knew what all he did. So,
Mhm.
what was that moment which inspired you to, start researching about him?
I wouldn't say there was any one particular moment. It was a culmination of a lot of other moments. So the first thing that I would say is, when I started learning about the man and the impact that he had on the Indian freedom struggle, that was a big shock to me, because we are taught the otherwise. And I have great respect for Master the Surya Sen and Bhagat Singh and all the other revolutionaries. But when I came to know, it was actually this man who actually finished the British rule. He actually uprooted the British rule from India, Netaji. That's when I understood that his impact. So I wouldn't say it was one or two moments, but it was a culmination of a lot of other moments. I was like, I was back then, I had just finished my school. I was in my first year of college. So, and joined first year probably, I was 3 months into first year. So, I was pretty new to college as well. But somehow, it kind of clicked me. Okay, so this is what I should be fighting for. This is a life, worth living. So that's when I decided that, okay, let's jump into it.
That's brilliant. And now, even the more I'm, doing sessions or reading about him, even I am like, I am wanting to know more about him and what is the death mystery, because there are so many,
Mhm.
theories regarding his
Yeah.
death, like the plane
Mhm.
crash theory, the Gumnami Baba theory, the
Mhm.
Russia theory.
Mhm.
So, when or what was the major fact or evidence that made it clear for you to believe that Netaji himself was Gumnami Baba?
So it was pretty clear when it comes to the the testifies, okay, the testimonies of the different people actually. And I'm not talking about any ordinary people. These people were actually big people. They were revolutionaries, and they were groomed by Netaji. They had personal connections with Netaji before he left India, and even when he was abroad, these people had connections with Netaji. For example, Pabitra Mohan Roy, he was straight by Netaji himself. Leela Roy's entire political and revolutionary career was carved out by Netaji. So
Netaji.
these people, when I found that actually these people went on to recognize this Gumnami Baba or Bhagwanji as Subhash Chandra Bose, then I don't think any of the family member will have any say over the credibility of Leela Roy, Pabitra Mohan Roy, Santosh Bhattacharya, Anil Das, Shunil Das, because these people, Pabitra Mohan Roy almost sacrificed his life for the country. So he was supposed to be hanged by the British. And Leela Roy was put into prison many times. She founded a lot of schools. So these people and their credibility were much higher than any of the current members of the Bose family. So I would any day prefer to believe Leela Roy over in any of the current Boses. So that's what made me intrigued about the angle, because outrightly it looks like absolutely trash, but when you when you take a deeper look at it, you will find this is the most genuine theory that you will come across. And to be honest, currently looking at the handwriting expert opinion, the DNA fudging angle and everything, it is like it's crystal clear to me right now.
Right. Previously, almost everybody who went for the declassification of files to Narendra Modi ji, almost
Mhm.
all were, accepting this truth that probably Gumnami Baba himself was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, or else why so many of the revolutionaries or freedom fighters would have visited Gumnami Baba if he was a nobody, he was just a saint
Exactly.
like any other normal
Exactly.
sadhu. So
Exactly.
let's see, sir. Now the thing is, it is at a point where the DNA was fudged by the
Mhm.
CFSL,
Mhm.
and now you have filed an RTI for the
Correct.
declassification of the electropherogram report of
Correct.
Gumnami Baba.
Correct.
So why are they refusing to share the news
No, no,
to the
I'll tell you.
public or share
I'll tell
the
you.
file?
I'll tell you. So
Hmm.
we have to know a little bit of the background of the case. So the first time electropherogram issue came up was, I think, in 2019, when one of our fellow friends actually kind of filed an RTI, and they said that it's a third-party information. CFSL Calcutta told that it's a third-party information and we cannot share it with you. So that was the first response. In 2019, I think I filed another RTI. So that was again the same thing, that I want the electropherogram of Gumnami Baba. And at that point of time, the first reply that they gave me, and probably that is the truth, the reply that they gave me is the electropherogram is not available, which goes on to indicate that it has been destroyed. So
Hmm.
because you cannot tamper with electropherogram, if you tamper with
Hmm.
electropherogram and make it public, it's a raw data. It will be caught immediately. So you cannot tamper
Hmm.
that evidence. So when you cannot tamper that evidence, it goes on to then the best solution from their perspective is that let's destroy the entire thing. And that's why it wasn't shared with Mukherjee Commission. The DNA report was shared with Mukherjee Commission, but electropherogram wasn't. Whereas CDFD Hyderabad actually, attached their electropherogram, but CFSL Calcutta didn't. So all these arguments that they're giving that it's a third party information doesn't stand, because the electropherogram from CDFD is already available in public domain. And if you take a
Hmm.
look at this CDFD electropherogram, and if you get it verified by a DNA expert, there are missing points because they only use two teeth of Bhagwanji, two or three teeth of Bhagwanji. Whereas the data that is available, the missing data, I'm leaving it apart. The data that is available, it is 100% matching with Netaji's data. The only problem is, since there are missing data, they put it as inconclusive. So but Justice Mukherjee never told them that you do not use more than two or three teeth, you can use all of them. So why did they not use the other four teeth? I have no clue. And to be honest, now that Justice Mukherjee isn't anymore, I can clearly tell you that he clearly told me that he knew that the DNA was fudged. He knew it, and
Hmm.
he told me personally this. And he
Okay.
was very clear and crystal about it. Justice Mukherjee was very clear about it, that the DNA was fudged. Now,
Okay.
after my 2019 reply, there was a big controversy. Media debate was going on in Arnab's show and CNN, IBN, and a lot of other news channels. Probably I am the first person in history who got a second RTI reply without even filing for first lifting. So they immediately gave me another RTI reply, and they said that, okay, so we have done some additional searches, and in additional searches we have found the electropherogram, but we cannot share it with you since this is a third party information. So I planned to pursue that and take it to the first appeal and the court proceedings from there onwards. But unfortunately, COVID came in, so
Hmm.
everything was stalled. So I decided that I'll give it a fresh start this year. So I again filed it. But this time
Okay.
they came up with some, I would say some very truthful answers, because they clearly said that it will affect and impact the sovereignty of India.
That's good.
Sovereignty of India is a big word. It
Big
means
word,
that
actually.
it's this sovereignty means the integrity of India. So what they're trying to say is, if this DNA report comes out, India might get divided. This is the basic implications that they are saying. They are also saying that foreign relations will
Can be
relations with
harmed.
foreign relations will get impacted. Now,
Exactly.
now, if we simply use our brain, a person who is living in rural Uttar Pradesh, people who know him, he has a very few followers. People who know him identify him as Subhash Bose, and in those among those witnesses there are people, some big revolutionaries. They are identifying him as Subhash Bose. When it
And they
comes
are very
to,
firm about it.
they
They
are very
say it
firm
with
about it.
confidence. They say
And
it with confidence. Yes.
this, not only did they say it with confidence, they also celebrated his birthday on 23rd January. There are
Mm,
eyewitness accounts still now who saw those celebrations happening. People would come from Durga during Durga Puja from Kolkata. He would,
mm,
and the worst part is people considered him as any other Baba. He was not a Baba. He was
mm.
having Nahom's cake. He was getting a pipe cigar. He was talking about intelligence. He was talking about world politics, geopolitics, everything. And then he also said that he actually moved out of India 21 times while in between 1950s and 1985. And he clearly told, now, I saw some post from the current Bose family that how did he get his passport. I'm sorry, unlike them, he didn't travel in business class. So the problem here is, the solution here is, he himself told it. There was if you look at his place of residence, they were all surrounding Nepal border. Even
Mm,
today, in those jungles, you can walk into Nepal. You don't need a passport. And from Nepal, you can travel to any of those southeastern countries. So,
mm.
for example, the way he used to tell Vietnam, China, and everything. He said that there are people who would receive me over there. So this argument that where is his passport is absolute rubbish. Obviously, he won't keep his passport. Nobody is
A person
ready
who
to
could
give
work,
his name.
a person who could walk to Afghanistan before independence to gather his
Absolutely,
army and go to meet Hitler, it won't be
absolutely.
possible for him to
Yeah,
travel
yeah.
after independence. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for this reason, he actually suffered physical issues. He had a
Huh.
physical ailments. So he had varicose veins, piles, and these kind of things. And he told that when he got piles, he told that I got it because I was traveling on a horse for a long time. So now just imagine this sadhu who travels out of India, who says that he has impact on geopolitics. He has, traveled into Southeast Asian countries. He is talking about things that people came to know much later on. This
Hmm.
person, this person, for example, there was this underground city in China, Dixiacheng. People came to know about it in 2000s. He was talking about it in 1970s, how it looks. And it was an underground city that China built so that if any nuclear war happens, the officials could be saved, the citizen could be saved. And he is actually describing how this city looks like. This only came to world's knowledge in 2000s. So 30 years
Nice.
back, that person was sitting over there and he was talking about all these things. Now,
Absolutely.
people identify him as Subhash Bose. His handwriting matches with Netaji, and that they have been certified by people like Dr. Bilal Kapoor, Dr. Ashok Kashyap, and Mr. Kurt Baggett. Now, his electropherogram, releasing his electropherogram will cause national issues. It will impact sovereignty of India. So it's very simple who he was. There cannot be any other, doubt that he could be
Absolutely.
somebody else.
Yeah, because if he, as I said earlier also, if he is a nobody, he's just a random saint who lives in the rural
Correct,
part of Uttar Pradesh,
correct.
then releasing his electropherogram report should not harm the sovereignty and
No, no,
integrity of the country, nor it should harm the international relations. If
no.
he is a person of an
Mhm,
national stature or international stature,
mhm.
only then it can harm it, or there is something which which is very much painful, for
Yeah,
which his which is very much painful, that it
correct.
may raise awareness among people that why such thing happened to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, because he was the one who gave us freedom, and even after independence he had to live a life in a rural
Yeah.
area, like just like that, with so many ailments.
Not only that, he had issues with food. He could not, and there was one point of time where he had to eat only boiled leaves. Boiled leaves. He had to take those boiled leaves. Okay. And there was a time when at that point of time, Saraswati Devi, his son, and Bhagwanji were living in, and they had only one mango. They would have only one mango throughout the day, and they would make juice out of it, the pulp out of it, and share it among three. That's the food habit that he had. And by the way, when Subhash Bose was here, he was like a foodie. He loved eating, and he couldn't stay hungry. And Bhagwanji told this very clearly, that when I was hungry, my face would become red. So my mother used to taunt me that how would you live in the jail if you cannot get used to hunger. So these kind of things, and not only that, if you look at the place of his cremation, it's a proper cantonment area. It's a military area, right?
Right.
How can it's a not a normal cremation ground. How can people take his body over there without any death certificate? They go there into an army cantonment. If we do that, we would be immediately arrested and thrown inside a jail. He was
Okay.
taken there, and there was quite a. It's not that they just did it in 5 minutes. No, it doesn't happen like that. They were there for at least 2-3 hours, and it was happening in front of the army. When he died, when he was cremated, he was taken with a tiranga, and
Mm.
when the pyre was lit up, it started drizzling a little bit. There were actually gunshots coming from the army cantonment, as if people were giving salutes. The army was actually kind of giving salutes. The firing squad started firing it, and the best part is there were multiple eyewitness accounts to support the fact. People from Uttar Pradesh police in their car were at a distance from the pyre, and they were keeping a watch on it. They were forget about opposing or arresting the people who were cremating him there. They were kind of ensuring that there is nothing wrong happens. So
Wow.
this was the thing that is happening. So this person cannot be any other Sant Mahatma. There are hundreds and thousands of Sant Mahatmas in Ayodhya,
India.
but
Yes.
this person was not a typical Baba. He was Subhash Bose. It's very clear.
Oh my God. Like I am hearing these facts for the first time. I'm literally getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
So that are moving ahead.
Mhm.
CFSL just gave the information that electropherogram tests have been conducted, but the results can't be shared to the public as it may affect the sovereignty and integrity of the nation, as we already
Correct.
discussed, and it may also affect the international relations. Now, my question here is, how can we be sure that the electropherogram report was in fact done, like on factual
Okay.
basis it was done, because they are
Okay.
refusing to share the
Currently, there
report?
is no evidence. There is no evidence, and let me tell you, without electropherogram, there is no validity of a DNA test. There is simply no validity of a DNA test. So, without the presence of an electropherogram, DNA test stands nowhere. It's like a doctor is saying your hand has broken, but there is no X-ray report, so it doesn't stand. It's a raw data. So now we cannot be sure that the DNA test was ever done, because I'll tell you, and I'll name the newspaper agency. It was Anand Bazar Patrika. When Justice Mukherjee sent in the samples, even before the test was conducted, they printed on their newspaper that the DNA doesn't match. How can it be possible that the DNA, they said that it's coming from an inside scoop?
Hmm.
So I understand, but you will get the inside scoop only when the test has been conducted, not before that. The result of the test will be available only once the test is done. Then you can
Hmm.
get a scoop from inside. But when the test was not yet conducted, you got a scoop that the DNA doesn't match. So it simply goes on to prove that they had a very preconceived notion. They had a very clear and crystal orders from their political masters that do not publish the original report. Just say it doesn't match, and nobody will ask for the electropherogram. So stop about it, because electropherogram in those days, I'm talking about 2004, 2005, nobody was actually aware of it. Only the very eminent experts of the field were actually aware of it. So that's what exactly happened. So we are not sure that the electropherogram ever existed, if the DNA test was ever conducted. Now I have filed a first appeal. I have clearly said that as per the government of India, or as per the Vishnu Sahai Commission of Inquiry, he was not Subhash Bose. He was some ordinary person. So how can it prejudicially affect the sovereignty of India? How is it possible? So I have my objection very clear, and I have said that what third party are they calling? Because Mukherjee Commission is dissolved, Justice Mukherjee is dead. Bhagwanji is dead. The other stakeholders of the case are dead, except for Home Ministry. So they have to come out clear on that the Home Ministry doesn't want this to get open. So they have to clearly admit it, because you just cannot say it's third party information. Then who is the first party? The British Empire. So you have to clearly
No,
say
obviously
who
no.
is the who is the clearly first and second party members. So that is another thing, and they have included some financial clause. I don't know what finance are they talking about, that it can actually impact someone's financial financial endorsement, so something of that sort. So I have no clue what they are pointing to. Maybe there are multiple secret clauses in the transfer of power documents. So in fact I tried and finding out the transfer of power papers. So I started putting in RTIs and seeking the government of India to give me the RTI transfer of power papers, and they told me that they do not have the transfer of power papers. So government of India do not have the transfer of power papers. So that's what they are saying. So this is absolutely, I mean, see, here is the thing. It's very normal. The birth certificate doesn't stay with the child, it stays with the mother. So I'm sure I'm pretty much sure the transfer of power documents is in the MI6 folders. And there are secret clauses, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. Because up to Nike, just imagine one thing, when people say that why did he not come out, and why did he not come out and leave the country and do this and do that. So we have to understand a couple of things, that he was definitely not a coward, but he was neither a fool. Up to 1968, there was SLO, which is called a Security Liaison Officer. He was a Britisher. He was in India. The function of this SLO was all our IB chiefs would go and give him salute and say, sir, this is the information that we have got about Subhash Bose and his family. Up to 1968, this is happening in India, independent India. This SLO will take a look and pass this into British intelligence. This is what they used to do in independent India. And Subhash Bose was not a fool. He knew it. He knew all of these things were happening. So this SLO was there up to, I think, mid 1950s. All our army chiefs, army, navy, and air force chiefs were all foreigners. So why would he come out? And the very Bengal from where he belonged, which should have stood up for him, they put in Congress in power. They put in Congress in power, the very party from where Netaji was ousted. And other than that, then they put in the communists in power, who called Netaji Tojur Kukur. So why would he come out? And in fact, there was a person who actually came and spoke to Ashok Ghosh, who was the forward block minister, and I met him. So for the messenger came and said that he has come back, and Ashok Ghosh said, he said in Bengali, "Ekhon to uni sadhu hoye gechen, ekhon ar ki chan." When the messenger went back to Bhagwanji, Bhagwanji said, "Ashokke jigesh koro ami অসাধু কবে ছিলাম." So that was the weight of the man, but unfortunately that was the political scenario. There was no one ready to support him. Even I am 100% sure some of the Bose family members were aware of it, and some of them actually supported him through various other means. For example, Suresh Chandra Bose, he sent in Sunil Krishna Gupta so that take care of my brother. But the other Bose family members, I think they were just fearful, because they were all pro-Nehru brigade. I will be very honest with you. If you go to Netaji Bhavan today, the first photo that you would find is Sugato Bose standing with Jawaharlal Nehru. The very first photo when you enter Netaji Bhavan. And if you just start, going through the stairs, you'll find a lot of Nehru photos. At one point of time, I got confused if this was Subhash, Netaji Bhavan or Nehru Bhavan. So they were all pro-Nehru people. So, and they got financial assistance. They became MPs in parliament. So it's very clear and crystal why he came out. His family was not ready to accept him. India had secret clauses with the allied forces. The Axis forces were finished. His army was absolutely dismantled by that time. By the time he entered India, 1955, there was no trace of Azad and Fauj and everything. They were not even taken back to the Indian Army. So depending on what should he come out, public support only that would result in killing of the public, because public doesn't have the weapons. So if people come in and start shooting, the ordinary common people would die, and he would never let that happen just for his own own interest. So that was the greatness of the man. And now today I saw that this Friday the Bose family members went on to file a PIL in the Calcutta High Court that distortions of history should be banned, and people who are using Netaji's name for their business should be put inside jail or something. They have a very common line. So my point is, I am ready to make my bank account available tomorrow public. Will he be crawling down and ask me for forgiveness? Because I really don't need Subhash Bose to take care of my financial stability. I can do it on my own. I do not need, unlike them, we do not need Subhash Bose for our financial stabilities. There are people in Mission Netaji who left their career for Subhash Bose. So please don't teach us. So please don't teach us about business and everything. We are writing books because books come as thesis. If you read Conundrum, you will understand it's not a book. It's a thesis. It's more like a thesis paper. We kind of put in these things because so that people come to know about it. When Gumnami came in, we did not do it for the money. We did it because people would come to hall, see what happened to this great man, and see some of the facts. Because see, wrapping 35-40 years in 2.5 hours film is impossible. But at least know what the highlights are. And even then, it is not we who started it. It is from their family. Lalita Bose went into Faizabad after Bhagwanji's death. Lalita Bose went in, she identified her mother's handwriting in a letter that was written to Bhagwanji addressed as Shubi, which was Subhash Chandra Bose's nickname. Lalita Bose went on to file that PIL. By the way, she had nothing to do with BJP as well. She was a Congress leader. She went on to file a PIL in the Allahabad High Court. Allahabad High Court, the judges who were there, one of the judges was a Muslim judge. If you read at the judgment, it was about what was the basic standing of the PIL. It was basically that this man, Lalita Bose said, this man was my uncle and I should inherit his belongings. That was the PIL. And Lalita Bose said that, and by the time the court proceedings started and everything, she was dead. So after that, again, Shakti Singh ji refueled the entire PIL. So after that, if you look at the judgment of the court, it was about Gumnami Baba. The judgment entirely covers Netaji, 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 Netaji. The entire judgment is about Netaji. So the court and the judge, the division bench is not full. They have been handling cases for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. They are not full. They know what is truth. And that is the very reason they told that Justice Sahai should find out who he was, not that who he was not. That's what Justice Sahai did, that he found out that he was not Subhash Bose. But that wasn't his job. His job was to find out the identity of Gumnami Baba, which he failed to do. He did not say that Gumnami Baba was this person. He was born here. He was, his father's name was this, mother's name was this. He failed to do that. He said that he was not Netaji. And, also the court said all his belongings, all of Bhagwanji's belongings should be placed at Ramkatha Sangrahar, which is in Ayodhya. The ground floor of that museum. Do you know what is in the ground floor of that museum? It's the items related to Bhagwan Ram. On that museum, first floor, ground floor, Bhagwan Ram's belonging. First floor, Bhagwanji's belonging. So this was a stature that the court understood, and the court absolutely guaranteed that they should be preserved immediately, because if they are not preserved, it will be categorically destroyed. And even after 3-4 years, they failed to inaugurate the Gumnami Baba gallery. Why? because as soon as it's inaugurated, people would go over there, people would see the things, and then people would understand who he was. Because if you look at his, belongings, it's very crystal clear. There is a Ma
And even
Kali's.
start questioning the facts, sir, because
Yeah,
if the
absolutely.
handwritings match, if the letters match, if the
Yeah, yeah,
names
yeah.
match, obviously we'll start questioning it. In fact, I have got a very interesting question out of my previous sessions done on Netaji. It
Mhm.
is said by many people that उस समय पे तो कांग्रेस थी, अभी तो
Mhm.
बीजेपी है. Now why even when you have filed the RTI now, it
Mhm.
is under Modi government or
Correct,
under BJP,
correct,
right? But
correct.
now like Modi government is refusing to,
See,
like,
it's not that Congress
support.
government or Modi government is rejecting it. It's the Indian government that is rejecting it. We have to understand that there is a
That's what.
difference. The,
But
the
if it's
difference is,
politically related, Dada, but if it
yeah,
is politically
it's
related, it could
it's
have harmed
yeah,
something
yeah,
related to the Gandhi family. But now it is a BJP rule, but still why
correct,
it
correct.
is not celebrated?
Basically, I'll tell you, if you look at the belongings of Gumnami Baba, there was a letter written by RSS chief Guru Golwalkar, who happens to be the mentor of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi has written a book about it. Narendra Modi's guru is Guru Golwalkar, and this Golwalkar Sahab writes letter to Bhagwanji that I bow down to your feet 1,000 times. Please tell me what should I do about this and this. So Guru Golwalkar saying these things to Bhagwanji itself says who this man was. Now understand this. That means Golwalkar ji was very much aware who he was. He was taking instructions from Bhagwanji. Now, in I think 1989, 1989, I think Chidambaram was the home minister at that point of time when the Gumnami Baba thing broke out, and there was a huge controversy and stuff. I might be wrong about the year, somewhere around 1989. So there was this MP called Ratnakar Pandey. So Ratnakar Pandey clearly asked the home minister, have you made an inquiry about the identity of this man? And the home minister on the floor of the parliament on record said that yes, we know it will be shared in due time. The problem is that due time never came in. Now,
Hmm.
here is the thing. Understand this, the entire political fraternity of India is aware of the identity of this man, be it the communists in Bengal, because as I told you about the Ashok Ghosh incident, uh, the entire political fraternity is aware of it. I mean, the top leadership, not the obviously not the root level workers, the top leadership. So they know about it, and they are very much aware of it. It is just that there might be some secret clauses in the transfer of power document because we don't have it yet. They know who this man was. There might be some obligations. See, one thing I would say is whenever the BJP government has been in power, there has been at least some progress about it. If Congress is in power, forget about Subhash Bose. Simply forget about it. Even the celebration like putting his statue in Kartavya Path and putting out some of the declassified into public domains, they rarely do it. They had to do it when they were in power because of Anuj Dharan Chandrachud Ghosh, because they won a case in an RTI case against them, and still they didn't do the entire thing. Out of 200 something files, they kind of declassified 91 files or something like that. So even after the order from CIC. So here is the thing, there might be some issues that they have, because obviously people would start asking questions not only to Congress, they would ask questions to BJP, they would ask questions to communists, they would ask questions to every political party that was there at that point of time, that what exactly were you guys doing? Why did you not go and support him? Why did you not, if you are aware of it, if you were very much aware of his presence, existence, then why did you simply not go there, bring him out, and make him lead the country? What was the problem? And even if you were not there at that point of time, why when you were formed, when you came to know about all these things, when you were in ministry, this ministry or that ministry, when you came to know about all these things, why did you not tell it to the public? Why did you hide it for so long? Because just because you have to form an ally with Congress, just because you have to form an ally with BJP, so that you can make the government, you can be a part of the government. So naturally these questions will come from people. So, and I'll tell you very honestly, Justice Mukherjee very candidly once told that I am 100% sure that this man was Netaji. In a sort of a more like a sting operation, I would say, because he wasn't aware that the video was ongoing. So Justice Mukherjee clearly told that. So, and even when it what led to the formation of Justice Mukherjee Commission was, the government once decided that they would bring back the Rinpoche ashes and but immerse it in Ganga here. But the problem is, some of the people went in and filed a PIL in Calcutta High Court, and the justice was Prabharanjan Mishra ji, and he called in the government lawyer and said, "What's your stand on this?" The government stand on record said that we are not sure about the plane crash. There are some problems. So that's when Prabharanjan Mishra said, then do then form a committee, find out what happened to him. So now, a few days back, just when my RTI thing was making the news, at that point of time, there is another guy called Saurav Dangar.
Okay.
He is a student in Taipei, and Saurav went into the Taipei archives, and he found out a police report of Taipei, and they found that there was no air crash. And Bhagwanji clearly said that, all this I'm saying about facts, all of them were reiterated by Bhagwanji. And these facts came out much later, that, okay, so he was snooped upon, his family was snooped upon and all this. But Bhagwanji said all these things in 1970s, 60s. And Saurav saw that the Taipei government says, the investigation from the police says that there was no air crash. And Bhagwanji clearly stated that there was no air crash. I went by car during those times. So the plane never took off. There was no plane. There was no plane that day. So but he went in to Manchuria via Dairen, and from there he onboarded to Russia. So, and it was a drive. It wasn't any plane or anything. So that's that. Even if we look at the not only just the handwriting, the content of the writing that he was writing, especially the books he was reading, the Himalayan Blunder and everything, and the comments that he were writing down, those cannot be not normal. Those cannot be coming from normal person. It's coming from a spy master. Not only normal sadhu, no normal person can write like this. It's coming from a spy master who has seen everything. And he writes to Leela Roy that when the India-Pakistan war was going on, he clearly says to Leela Roy that you're dead man. He would refer to him like this: "You're dead man. My name has been cut off from the register of humans, and I am a dead ghost." So these kind of things he would refer to. He would never say my. This is. He would say this body. You're dead man. All. So he writes to Leela Roy, "Your dead man was at Shalimar. I saw what is happening in the Indian army, how the Indian army were progressing. There was not a single Pakistani there. They all fled. This was a golden opportunity. We missed it." And he's going all out on the Congress government that why did they come back? Why did they not capture Lahore? And this thing, all of these things, the warfare techniques, how you should pull a pin out of a grenade, how you should shoot with a pistol. What is the difference between shooting a pistol and a higher gun or something? All these things, how do you spy on people? How do the spy networks work in the world? He would talk about Ireland's De Valera and all these people. So he would even talk about Mao Zedong's Parkinson disease, when it was, dur tak not known to the world. He clearly told about Parkinson's disease. Even today, it's kind of a secret, but it's now an open secret sort of thing. And that happened very recently in 2000, I would say 10 or something like that. This person was describing Mao Zedong's Parkinson disease, what kind of cigarette he smokes, and this kind of things, everything that, and he's talking about that. I told Mao that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Mao told me this and that. I was in Russia, I was in Siberia. These kind of things he's saying. You're dead man. And there was a map. When Justice Mukherjee went in there. He got a map from Bhagwanji's belonging. The entire route of how he came back to India was written there. It was there.
So
So
many proofs. So
yeah,
many
and
proofs.
even today, Rajkumar Shukla is alive. He was with
Hmm.
Gumnami Baba for 30 years. His
Hmm.
mother was Saraswati Devi. Rajkumar,
Hmm.
I don't understand what made Sahai not question Rajkumar Shukla. Why did, why isn't Rajkumar Shukla's evidence taken into account? Because he is a prima facie witness. How
Hmm.
many people did Sahai Commission summon? Zero. He did not summon a single person. And Justice Vishnu Sahai, with all due respect, he based his conclusions on two things. One, a DNA test report, which is now out open in public, what exactly it is made up of. The second is, when the treasury was sealed, when Bhagwanji's belongings inventory was made, so a lot of items were listed, and it took them months to do that. Justice Sahai just spent an evening there. He pulled out a letter from a certain Bulbul. And what is the content of the letter? That Bulbul writes that if you can come to our house on Netaji's birthday, it would be fine. Justice Sahai draws conclusion, since Netaji is in third person here, so he cannot be Netaji. Now, Justice Sahai thought that he would seal the case with this. But the problem and the luck did not favor Justice Sahai at all in this case, because Justice Sahai thought that Bulbul must be dead by now. But Bulbul is basically a revolutionary Santosh Bhattacharya's daughter. Her actual name is Suhita Bhattacharya, and she is very much alive. The day the report
Okay.
came out, Bulbul the very next day gives a public statement. No, 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 I was sure that he was Netaji. My father told me he was Netaji. I was writing to Netaji. I writing to him as Netaji. He did not summon me. Sahai did not summon me. So the very validity of Sahai Commission, which was formed to find out who Gumnami Baba was, stands nowhere. They failed to identify Gumnami Baba. They said he was not Netaji based on DNA report, whose electropherogram isn't available. Based on Bulbul's letter, afterwards Bulbul comes out and says that no, I did not write this. I was sure that she was he was Netaji. I'm pretty much sure. My father told me that he was Netaji. So this entire validity of Sahai Commission falls flat. So there,
But
I don't
Dada,
think.
what made this Sahai Commission or Mukherjee Commission not reveal the truth? Even
See.
see, Justice Mukherjee said later, like
Mhm,
as you said that when you met him or
mhm,
Anuj
mhm,
sir met him,
mhm.
he clearly mentions that Netaji was Gumnami Baba. But what made them not reveal the truth to the public when these commissions were sharing the reports to the public?
I'll tell you two different reasons. For Justice Mukherjee, it was a DNA test.
Hmm.
If you read the Justice Mukherjee Commission of Inquiry report and the verdict at the end of it regarding Gumnami Baba, he clearly says, in absence of any clinching evidence, he uses the word clinching. So evidence is there, but clinching evidence is not there. What is the clinching evidence? The DNA report. Now, when the DNA went against him, how can he say that he was Netaji? The DNA doesn't match. So that is the very reason Justice Mukherjee couldn't say it. When Anuj, the Chandrachudha, and all of them went on to depose in front of Sahai Commission, they clearly told that why don't you do a DNA analysis of the remaining dates? Or
Hmm.
if you ask for the electropherogram, you ask for the UPCID files, because we are sure there are files. This Sahai did not do any of it. Even when Srijit Panikar told him that you should look for the intelligence files, he was not even ready to take it into record, in the commission record. That no, no, I don't want to include this in the record. So what Sahai did, Sahai was like, leave me alone. I don't want to get involved in all of these things. So that was Justice Sahai's outlook towards this entire case, because he did not do the investigation. That, just
Hmm.
understand, 10 people are sitting in a room, 10 of them are reading the belongings of Bhagwanji. It took them months to complete. Justice
Hmm.
Sahai goes into that same room, investigates those same belongings, and it takes him just an evening, just a couple of hours to do that. It is humanly not possible. Even if I consider that Justice Sahai has the intelligence of Swami Vivekananda, or concentration level of Swami Vivekananda, even then it is not possible. There are thousands of items. You cannot simply just take out one item and say, oh, there is someone called Bulbul, she died. So you ask Bulbul, you get in touch with her, you summon that person in front of the commission. You don't do anything. You just cite this and say, no, it doesn't match. He cannot be Netaji. And most importantly, it was the Sahai Commission was not formed to understand and to determine who he was not. It was set up to understand, to establish Bhagwanji's identities. I even before the Sahai Commission report was in public domain, I was constantly saying this in media. Remember, when the report comes out, his motive is to find out, his objective is to find out who Bhagwanji was, not that he was not Netaji. So that's number one. And even the UP government was not releasing Sahai Commission report. I'll be very honest with you. I had to file I filed firstly I filed an RTI and with the UP state government, and after that it went to the first appeal, and then it went to the CIC. Not CIC, the State Information Commission. I had to hire a lawyer. My lawyer represented me over there. And after the CIC, after the State Information Commission said that you have to do it within 2 weeks or something, after that they, put out the Sahai Commission report. So they were not even willing to put out the Sahai Commission report into public domain as well.
My goodness. So, sir, what conclusion like we do come up with, like now it is becoming quite clear,
Yeah.
because in books and everything in Wikipedia it is
Mhm.
mentioned that he died through plane crash, but the science and the reports are saying something else.
Mhm.
After you filed the RTI now for the
Mhm.
electropherogram report,
Mhm.
how much it is advancing? Are there any
I
updates?
would say it's a big development, to be very honest. They are saying, see, understand this. 81A is something, if you ask for, say, tell me the military intelligence news of India. At that point of time, they would cite 81A. Say if you are asking about the whereabouts, where is this terrorist kept? In which jail? That's when they would cite 81A. Now they are saying, so because that is the weight of 81A, which says sovereignty, impacting sovereignty and integrity of India is a big thing. India is one of the biggest, it's the largest democracy in the world.
Hmm.
You are saying that that democracy's integrity and sovereignty will be impacted if this person's electropherogram comes out in public. It's a huge statement, and I would say this is a very subtle message from the government, as that, okay, we are accepting he was boss, just leave us alone now. This is the kind of message that they're giving, but I'm sorry, I cannot leave them alone. I have filed the first appeal, and I intend to take this to the Central Information Commission. I have spoken to a lawyer as well, so I think we would be taking this to the court, because I feel when it comes to the Sarkari stamp, I think if we corner the CFSL Calcutta, because I know they don't have the electropherogram report. I know it. I know it that they don't have the electropherogram report. They have destroyed it. That's why they cannot give it. The actual reason is this: if we can get a court order on this, that you have to give the electropherogram to these people, then this case is over. I'm pretty much sure about it.
Hmm. So, how long do you think it may take? There
It
will be
takes
like
time.
years of. Hmm.
No, not that much, but it does take time, because I think I will be getting the first appeal response by mid of December max, and then I'll immediately file the CIC complaint if I'm not happy with it. So there is a provision that, okay, if they come up with something sensible, something good, then obviously there is no reason for me to go to CIC. But it's very unlikely that they would do so. So if the if they do not satisfy my expectations, that okay, so what exactly, why those clauses are in place as a response, so I would ask them that I would file the CIC. Now the problem is the case in CIC gets time. So because there are multiple cases that are listed every day in CIC, CIC. So say it takes an year or 1.5 years to get the dates from CIC for a hearing. But I think once the hearing is in place, I don't think they have any ground to defend themselves, because it's very
But
clear.
there are a lot of pulling back, Dada. There are a lot of pulling back from some of the members who were into the declassification of Netaji files, and now they
Yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah.
pulling back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, don't
No,
you
no,
think that will become a hurdle?
no.
If
I
the
really don't think so, because honestly speaking, I don't take them very seriously. They are people of no consequence. They tried to stop Gumnami. They failed miserably. And honestly speaking, I'll take the name. I was at one point of time very close to Chandra Kumar Bose at one point of time. So I know what he thinks, how he thinks, because he doesn't think. That is a problem. He doesn't think, because for thinking you need intelligence, which he lacks. So that is a problem that he has. But they have a Chandra Kumar Bose. I'll be very honest with you. He's a toy in the hands of Madhuri Bose and Surya Kumar Bose. I have seen it. I can go to any court and testify this. There is no problem with this. He doesn't have a personality of his own. So that's why he has gone to the court, because I know what the court will say. Because they tried to stop Gumnami, they failed. They tried to stop Sannyasi Deshnayak, they stopped. They failed miserably. So the court, why would the court hear about something that, okay, movies, basically what they are saying right now is movies on Netaji shouldn't be made. Movies on books on Netaji shouldn't be written. That's what they are kind of saying, that there should be no
why?
distortions. Bring back the Rinpoche temples. I really want that unfortunately, I know the case won't get accepted, but I really want that the case gets accepted in Calcutta High Court, because to bring back the Rinpoche ashes, they have to prove it was Netaji's. And I can
Hmm.
guarantee you that they cannot prove it, because that ashes doesn't belong to Netaji. But yes, that ashes has been tampered with. There, Sugato Bose did go and meet the Renkoji temple priest, and he might have put in bones and stuff from his family, so that the DNA gets established. So, but again, I will contact them on the Gumnami Baba DNA report angle, because even if that Renkoji temple the ashes match, if again Gumnami Baba's DNA also match, then there is a problem. Then there is a problem.
There's a
Then
problem.
there is definitely a problem.
A person can't be present in two places at once.
At two different timelines. One was 1945,
Huh.
other is 1985. 40 years of gap.
Right.
So
40
that
years
is
of gap.
not possible. And
Hmm.
they cannot tell that Gumnami Baba's teeth has been tampered with, because it was kept under Faizabad treasury, and after that it was sealed by the court. So there is no chance of any tampering of the teeth of Gumnami Baba. But Rinpoche ashes are kept out in public. It's in the Rinpoche temple. It's in an urn. It's in public. Do you know who owns? I mean, who has the authority over that Rinpoche ashes? It's the government of India. It's not Japan government. Government of India
Okay.
has Government of India has full control over Rinpoche ashes, and even I have read government of documents. In fact, I think I have them. So they decided previously also that let's do the DNA testing of this Rinpoche ashes. Now, a
Hmm.
top level secretary writes to another official that now just understand this thing. From 1950s, they have been saying that Gumnami Baba, that Netaji died in air crash. Pandit Nehru and everybody on the floor of the parliament clearly said Netaji died in the air crash. There cannot be any other doubt. Now, this official, he's a very senior person in the government. He has access to the files. He writes any change in the DNA, in the DNA test can cause huge hue and cry. A slight change may cause, if the DNA test is positive, then this matter is sorted forever. If it is not, one can imagine the reaction of the nation. This is a senior government official writing to another, and this is the same government which has been saying that there cannot be any doubt about Netaji's death in 1945. So understand. So this Rinpoche ashes, the government itself is not sure that if it was Subhash Bose's ashes.
Hmm.
They were not sure about it. So here is the thing. I definitely want that DNA testing of Rinpoche ashes should happen. There cannot be any doubt about it. but it should be done in a foreign lab, and any chances of tampering of those ashes should be checked in, and that has to be done in a foreign neutral lab, not in some sarkari lab, because government of India's approach to this case has been very questionable, very doubtful, because they have been trying to suppress the fact, and that's what they did with the handwriting, that's what they did with the DNA thing. So basically it has to be done in a neutral lab. So I'm all for the DNA test for Rinpoche temple ashes, but it has to be done in a neutral lab.
So now, as you have mentioned that you're just waiting for it till the month of December, you're positive about it.
Correct.
Let's hope for the best, and let's hope that finally this comes to an end and we find out the truth, because we, being the followers of Netaji, would always want whoever
Correct.
Netaji was, though he was, even if he was Gumnami Baba, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even if he died in a plane crash, it doesn't matter. We just want to know the truth. And I hope, and I wish you all the best that
Thank
you
you.
achieve success in the RTI file, Dada. And just let me know how, even I want to join this mission, because I have been following Netaji. And in any way, if I can do something, I'll be really thankful and grateful to all of you. And I really hope that, being a follower of Netaji, all of us who are watching us today should find out the ultimate truth about Netaji's death.
Right.
And even if he was not Gumnami Baba, that is also fine with us.
That's fine.
Just
That's fine.
let the
That's
truth
fine.
come out.
That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Dada, for
Thank
joining me today. It was a lovely interaction with you, and we got to know a lot of new what should I call it? New ideas and declassification from your end, which I actually didn't know earlier. So thank you so much. I would also like you to join me once again, please.
Sure. Definitely.
Sure, Dada. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Jai Hind.
Jai.
Goodbye. Jai Hind.
Goodbye.
Bye.